Well, everyone, going to do a fairly quick check-in on the names we looked at yesterday, and that's because I got to get to the beach before the sun goes down. And there's also not a whole lot going on. So as far as I'm concerned, talked a little bit about it in the video yesterday, we're in a daily equilibrium for BTC, and the reasoning for that, as I talked about, was because ETH, XRP, all these other names are as well, and you could argue either way whether we lost support or not. And it's just the way that things are forming, the tightening ranges we're seeing, the weekly inside bars, the monthly inside bars. I'm just holding out and saying this is still a daily equilibrium, and we're going to be watching for it to break sometime probably after this weekend. We could still trade within this range for another few days, and probably towards the end of this weekend, we'll be looking for that break. But as the thumbnail alludes to, don't go to sleep here because things are going to get most boring right before we explode. And whether it's an explosion to the upside or the downside, I don't know. But I do know that we're going to get lulled into a sense of complacency in terms of just saying, nothing's going on in crypto. And I'm already guilty of this myself to a small degree, where it's, I haven't looked at crypto in 8 hours and I just forget. And it's like, oh yeah, I should check on Bitcoin, see where Bitcoin's at. Obviously, if you set yourself alerts, you have the alert system going off. That can help you, stay focused and look at things when things start picking up again. But I will be looking to initiate some stop buys. Ideally, if we set a daily lower high here, I would like to see a daily lower high compared to 67.86 and then start to pull back a little bit. And then I will use that new lower high as a level to place my stop buys. So two scenarios. People talk about fake outs. What if we get a fake out on this weekly time frame? Well, number one, just have an exit plan and it can't be too bad. You'll get a red trade probably, but as long as you manage that risk, no huge loss. But in two scenarios, psychologically speaking, I don't think we're going to get a bullish fake out. I think we would be more likely to get a bearish fake out. And the reason is, again, just the psychology of the market. So the possibility of getting a bearish fake out is a bear break, which we actually already saw. This was a clear bear break. And then the bulls bought the dip aggressively for multiple days. So that's the kind of scenario where big money is waiting on the sideline and defending 6,000 support. So that's a possibility. Yes, break 6,000, tons of market buys come in, trap the shorts, see multiple days of upside. That's a possibility. Now, the opposite scenario, I don't foresee happening. And that's because everybody is holding their breath right now, and everybody's watching this cryptocurrency space. And both bulls and bears alike are using this level, these resistance levels on the weekly time frame, as stops. So the bears are going to stop out if these resistance levels get taken out. The first wave of short covering would probably be 68.23, and the next wave would be 7,400. As far as bulls are going to jump in when these resistance levels break. So I do not foresee a ton of cash sitting on the sideline and just saying, all right, as soon as we break bullish, we're going to smash this down with, a bunch of market selling. I don't think the market selling could outweigh the bullish catalyst that a clear bull break would have. And again, everybody on Twitter, everybody on social media, all these analysts that people follow, and every trader is going to be all looking at the same signals, and we're going to be pointing out a clear bull break. So unless that fake out happens in literally the first 2 hours or so that break does happen, say we break up to 7,500 and then dump right back down to 7,000 2 hours later, that's a fake out. But once we get some bull momentum going and that snowball starts rolling down the hill, I don't foresee the bears being able to counteract the amount of bullish sentiment that's going to happen with that break if and when it does occur. So here's our higher low on the daily now, 63.99, significant follow through from that point. And we're going to be looking at two resistance levels here, 66.42. Really want to see the bulls break that level if the bulls want to have some decent odds to break this equilibrium bullish. And after that, we're looking up at 67.87. So on the 4-hour time frame, we have changed the trend now. Well, I take that back, not officially. We broke the lower highs on the bull move. Now we're trying to see continuation, and here we have a good old-fashioned equilibrium. So we've got our high of the bull move, our low of consolidation, and if we look at it on the hourly time frame, it's a little bit less clear because we do have some wicks up in there. So just zoom out to the 4-hour. There's the high. The low is 65.25. Looks like our lower high is 65.74. And we'll see which direction breaks here as we head into tonight. Bulls have to see a bull break to confirm this trend change on the 4-hour time frame. Otherwise, we broke resistances, but we did not get the higher low and higher high confirmation of that trend change. So if we fall down and break 65.25, that keeps the short-term bear momentum with those bears. And the bulls ideally want to hold this exponential support as we are currently doing and see a continuation bull move. So that's where we stand on Bitcoin as we head into tomorrow. Again, essentially, the bears have the upper hand unless we can break 66 503 tonight and see that follow through. Otherwise, bears remain comfortable. Ethereum still following through with a really nice daily tightening equilibrium. High, low, lower, high. Looks like our higher low is forming. We definitely need a little bit more follow through, and we need to change the trend on the 4 hour. So again, we do have a little break of the lower highs on the 4 hour, but we need the higher low and then continuation move. And it looks like we just broke the low of consolidation, so that increases the odds that Bitcoin's going to break the low of consolidation as well, just because Ethereum already has, so that's something to note. And you can see we're struggling at exponential resistance, whereas Bitcoin is holding it as support. So we need this continuation move. We need a break of 225.66 into tonight for us to say, all right, our daily higher low has clearly been established on Ethereum, and then we're looking for a lower high compared to 238.69. So bulls still need proving is the bottom line for these names right now. XRP. So looks like our daily higher low is set. High, low, lower high. Higher low has been formed at 506, and we're looking for a lower high compared to 624. So the bulls have some work to do, just like everybody else. The 4 hour time frame has not clearly shifted that trend. Well, actually it has. So we did see a little higher low and higher high. It's different than the other two names in that instance, but it's still a very clear line of lower highs that we are watching. We broke the most recent little lower high, but the bulls need follow through here as well. Short-term support is down at 529 and resistance is at 549, and we are looking for a break and follow through again to shift that momentum to back to an even playing field on the daily chart. If we do not break these 4 hour moves to see continuation, it's not a level playing field on the daily charts for these names. It is a favoring bear environment unless we get continuation tonight. And last, we'll wrap it up here with BNB. So BNB, look at how beautiful this played out. So we did this video yesterday, and at that point, this candlestick was just starting to form. And I was highlighting, and thanks for all that great feedback. Apparently, a one beer buzz makes me get all philosophical and better with my analogies and such. But we had our high, low, and we were looking for the lower high. So the loss of the 5-minute trend let us know that our lower high was likely set. And let's go back to that point in time because we saw beautiful follow through where as soon as we lost that 5-minute uptrend, again, the clear break, there was one break at 1039. The very clear break was 1035. And from 1035, we dropped down to 1012. So again, another couple of percent to the downside. And we then saw a higher low form and a bull break. That would have been the exit. So a nice signal, and hopefully that was insightful for using longer term timeframes combined with shorter term timeframes to make the best entries and exits. So where we stand on this 4 hour time frame is a really nice tight pattern. High, low, lower, high, form the higher low. There's the lower high with a higher low, and then a lower high, and now an inside bar. Support is 1020, resistance is 1042. We have a 22-cent range. We are currently favoring the bulls slightly, and we're going to be watching to see how this 4 hour inside bar, actually it has a long way to go. It might not even end up being an inside bar. Over 3 hours to go. It just started forming. But the bottom line is we're riding exponential support and we're watching the lower highs and higher lows. And we're going to get a very clear break. If we break 1042, we're looking up to 1049. If we get a bear break of 1020, we're looking down to 1012.5. So that's a really nice pattern to be watching. Again, we're not getting tons of follow through on this break. I wouldn't anticipate a ton of follow through, maybe just a few percent. So adjust that. And that's combining knowing what Bitcoin and everybody else is doing. If everybody else is forming daily equilibriums, Binance here getting its own break on the 4 hour time frame, probably not going to see, a 5 to 10% follow through move on that signal. So keep that in mind and just keep an eye on what everybody else is doing, because if we get a bear break and then Bitcoin loses this 4 hour support, that's going to help the bears get a little bit more follow through, in my opinion. And likewise, if we get that 4 hour continuation in Bitcoin, that will probably help the bulls on a break of 1042 resistance. So that's where we stand on these 4 names. Again, check out the Instagram we got going. I'm going to put some time and effort into that and putting some videos up, more videos coming, more thumbnails coming, trader tips, all that stuff. It's not bad. It's a pretty fun platform. Maybe I'll hate it in another week. We'll see. And I hope you continue to do good things. Here at the end, we've got Iceland again, and this was a pretty eerie place just because it was really cool with all the rocks and such, but it was actually where they executed people maybe 400 or 500 years ago. So pretty interesting to know that history, and didn't know that history until we were halfway through it, but very interesting vibe in that spot. So thanks again. We'll see you tomorrow, and we will look at, tomorrow I'll look at a bunch of different coins. We'll look at the Coinbase names, BCH, LTC as well, etc. And then we'll do some more altcoins over the week. Did a chat with Nuggets news the other day. Check that out on our YouTube channel. Fundamental combination with technical analysis. All that good stuff. S&P 500 just lost the daily uptrend. Let's look at that real quick. So S&P 500 just lost the daily uptrend for the first time in over 3 months. And we're seeing an oversold bounce play out here. But it's notable. So head and shoulders pattern. Bear break. And now we're going to see how much weekly consolidation do we get from here now that we're finally losing the daily uptrend. And again, it was the first time since back in June. We lost that uptrend back in June, regained it, or I should say we regained it back in June, and it's been a bullish uptrend for 3 months, and that has now changed. So people ask, what are we going to see money go from stocks to crypto? And the answer for me is still probably not. And I just think about it. I'm the perfect, target market or sample case, you should say, where I have a lot of money in my stock account. And I would love to bring money over easily to go into crypto, but it's a multiple day process. It's not easy. If I could click 3 buttons and have my funds go from, stock world to crypto world, you would see that. You would see money much easier go into shifting around these spaces. And that will potentially be a thing. We'll see what Bakkt has to do about it. We'll see what Fidelity has to do about it, making their own exchange. But as of right now, it's too much hassle. If you're talking about a move 3 days later, I'm not going to start moving my funds out of stocks now, get them into crypto. Anyways, you get the point. It's a hassle and it's a hurdle at this point. So we'll keep an eye out for the ease of transition of funds from, one asset class to the other. The easier that gets, the more we're going to see perhaps inverse correlations between the stock world and the cryptocurrency world. Thanks again. We'll see you tomorrow.